YouTube, welcome back. Be careful what you wish for, you might get it. We're gonna have a look at Rotweaver today. Rotweaver is a fast firing machine pistol which deals decay damage and has a very interesting mechanic to regenerate bullets. That means that you get bullets back to your reserve, not your magazine. But what makes Rotweaver so special is its unique way to play it. More on that later. When I first got my hands on the gun and leveled it, I must say it felt quite underwhelming. So the question is, did my feel change during today's video and did it change my mind? Does it have a place in the current meta and is it a viable choice to clear whole maps? So stay tuned for my verdict. Let's start on how you get Rotweaver in the first place. Before you can get the gun, you need to level Gnosis to level 2. Then you need to gain access to the tower. I've linked my video to it right here and you can also find it in the description. But you don't have to kill the boss. You only need to make it to the boss room and grab it from his altar. If you die in the encounter, don't worry, it will unlock the gun nevertheless. Alright, now that we got our hands on the gun, we leveled it, let's have a look at the Mysteriums and put some brainpower on how to use the gun best. Really interesting are the first two Mysteria. Shots apply decay. The longer the burst, the more powerful the curse. The effect wanes when the gun is not in use. So the longer you shoot on a single target, the stronger the effect of decay will get. And the second Mysterium, when an enemy dies from decay, a few bullets are regenerated in the magazine. Before patch 0.33, this was so crazily overpowered that you simply could not run out of ammo if you played this gun right. So they had to patch it and now you only get 7 bullets back. And the question is that still enough to clear whole maps with Rotweaver? My idea was to accompany Rotweaver with a gun that could maybe start an encounter with decay already. So I chose ASE. But it turned out that Rotweaver is best paired with a gun for elite and heavy enemies, so I would pick Hunger or Hangfire instead, maybe even Echo. Then we pick Vulture, Stigma Diabolicum, Burning Stake. I went with Curfane, Henbane and Ring of Excreta because also of the decay. But you can also go with Crown of Fire, maybe Ring of Obedience, Shadow Mist Ring, Ring of Thorns, they all go. Let's not forget Ring of Obedience, which could be a good idea for the push damage, but I went with Excreta. Let's now have a look at the wording of Curfane. Casting a light spell guarantees a lightning arc on the next shot. And Stigma Diabolicum says, killing an enemy with decay or a shot at the cyst partially regenerates the spell. And let's not forget, you get a 35% damage modifier with the spell. You could also switch out Curfane for Painted Tooth, because if you do a few headshots first, you will ignite the enemies, then apply decay, and this will increase the damage ticks. But we have Burning Stake already, so Painted Tooth might not be the best idea. I chose Curfane. And before I forget to mention it, don't pick Eye of the Madwoman. The lightning damage will steal your kills and the decay ticks will not kill the enemy. Alright, 2 side notes. In the following video, which is by far not my best gameplay, I literally failed so many times, yet Rotweaver and the Arcana were able to carry me not only through the castle itself, but through the vault and the galley slave. So a whopping clear of the whole map. And the best part is, the combo could even be stronger if I didn't pair it with ASE, but as I said initially, maybe with Hunger or Hangfire or Echo. Another thing to notice, if you apply decay twice, only the stronger decay will tick. Therefore, use your decay wisely. If you applied decay by Rotweaver, you don't have to apply it again by Stigma Diabolicum. And since decay is so important, we need to adjust our Arcana or Prophecies. I usually go with the heavy spell Prophecies, but since the whole loop plays around the decay kills, we need to make sure we get as much decay Arcana as possible. And that is with the light spell and earth Prophecies. Okay, we're almost 5 minutes into the video and I didn't even mention how the gameplay looks like and what Reaver is all about. The idea is to set Burning Stake. Then use ASE to start the encounter, shoot multiple enemies to apply decay with the shockwave, then go in, cast Stigma Diabolicum. Because of the spell recharge, we have a constant proc of Curfane Lightning, plus the increased decay ticks from Burn. This will make sure that the enemies die quickly from decay. And that is the whole goal. Make the enemies die by decay, because that will trigger the M2 Arcana of Rotweaver and give us ammo back. Because enemy died from decay, we also get back our Stigma Diabolicum. And the circle begins again. We have a constant up of Stigma, constant ammo replenishment for Rotweaver, and constant lightning procs from Curfane. Sounds awesome, right? Well, it comes with a little prerequisite. If your spell recharge is too low, 25% works already pretty well, higher is obviously better, and you can set Burning Stake with every camp, it's better to use Painted Tooth for additional decay damage due to the burn effect. But you have to stick to the game plan. Apply Burn with Headshot from Rotweaver, then cast Stigma, shoot the next enemy. Minor enemies can and will die from Burn and Stigma alone. Major or Elite enemies need to be zerged. If spell recharge is high enough, use Curfane for decay and lightning ticks and Burn from Stake. But this is somewhat dangerous because Curfane could get the kill due to the lightning ticks, but I found out for enemies or bunched up enemies, it works very, very well. And here's the point where the unique gameplay comes into play, and sometimes why I really like the gun and why I don't like the gun. First, the game plan works so well and it's so satisfying to see how your Stigma is constantly up, how the lightning from Curfane procs, and how well you get your ammo back for Rotweaver. Due to the M1 effect, it can even zerg down enemies fairly well. But I found that sometimes you need to wait for the enemy to die from decay so that the plan works. And this is somehow, well, it gives me a break in my gameplay that I don't like. So I need to stand around and wait for the decay ticks to kill the enemy, and this just doesn't feel right for me. So, back to the initial questions and to my conclusion. Did playing with a gun change my mind? Yes, it did. Even though it's not my favorite or go-to gun, it is definitely a fun weapon and it especially freshens up the gameplay and adds another level to it. It's a nice addition to the arsenal in general and you should try it out yourself. It's simply just not a gun of the big numbers, but it's quite satisfying to see the enemies tick to death and how everything works together. I will leave you now without my comments with some of the encounters. Pay attention again how well Rotweaver works with Stigma Diabolicum and Curfane. Enjoy the gunplay and please leave a comment on the next gun you want to see me play. If you liked this video, if you found it helpful or entertaining, please hit the like button. And I saw that almost 90% of you guys aren't subscribed yet. The game is not Call of Duty. You can help reach more players by hitting the like and subscribe button, because YouTube will push the videos to more people out there. That's it for today's video. As always, have a good one.